Recently, I discovered that I have a superpower. Now, although I had used this superpower in the past, I really wasn't aware of its awesomeness. My superpower makes me give the ability to make people feel 10 feet tall, when really, they're only this high. And it allows me to celebrate with people, even when they get things wrong. And the best thing about my superpower is that you all have the ability to use it as well. And it's called empowering people. Now, I first discovered that I had this ability shortly after my daughter was born. And I use it here at work as well, especially with our varsity club, a group of amazing students who run and organize the majority of our tournaments. And when I look at that word and look at what it means, I think that that is one of the greatest gifts that I can give to our students here at school, and to my daughter, Mara, who is 2.5 years old. Now, the word empowerment may seem like a bit of a buzzword, conjured up in recent times, and that's because it is. The word had little purpose 100 years ago. Everything was pretty stale and pretty stable. Your gender and your social class dictated the education you received and the job you went to. And it really wasn't until the development of technology, and specifically the internet, that we are now training our students for jobs that currently don't exist. And major companies like Google are turning around and saying that one of the top qualities that they look for in a job applicant is grit. Whatever happened to going into a job interview and landing it because your daddy is a banker and you went to a top university? Those times are slowly going. Anyway, enough of the backstory, because I know you're all itching to get out there and start using my superpower as well. So here are, in my opinion, the 5 most important things that you need to know about empowering people. Number 1, time. It takes so much time to empower the young. If I could find a cheat around this, I think I would bag it up and sell it to parents around the world, making millions in the process. My daughter hates it when I try and put her coat on for her. And that's because she feels a real value in doing it herself. She's beginning to feel empowered. Now, if I am to put her coat and boots on for her, we can be out the house in 2 minutes. But when I let her do it, it feels like hours. And it's the same here with our varsity club. For me to schedule a tournament, I can do that in 3 to 5 minutes. And for them, it might take days. And that's okay. It really is important to invest the time in allowing people to find their own best way to go about something. Can you remember the last time that you learned something from scratch? It's not easy. We all make a mountain of mistakes along the way, which leads me to my next point: failure. Now, Mara has recently learned that jumping off things higher than the ground is pretty cool. She's also discovering that jumping off something this high is far more fun than jumping off something this high. And recently, we learned that her optimum ledge jumping height is here. And that came from trying and failing to jump off something this high. A scratch to the hands and knees, a little bit of blood, and a few tears later, and she was back up and enjoying the wonderful sport that is ledge jumping. When I first started working here at this school, at my very first tournament, day 1, some students came running to me, Mr. Hughes, we've run out of ham and cheese for the toasties. They're going to sell out any minute. This was a disaster. No ham and cheese. The sales of the Booster Club were going to fall, we would have to close. We might as well cancel the whole tournament. Is there no one that can go and get them for you? I asked. No, they said. So I took an hour out of that tournament to drive down to the cash and carry, buying as much ham and cheese slices as I could. I drove all the way back here. I ran through the campus, diving in slow motion into the Booster Club, handing them those ham and cheese slices just as the final toastie was being solved. Crisis averted. Or was it? What had I taught those students? I decided that I was going to have a conversation with them after the tournament. I let them know that I wouldn't be doing this again, and we discussed the importance of planning ahead and keeping well stocked, and I thought that we left the conversation with everybody understanding. The very next tournament, day 1, 10 o'clock, the same students came to me. Mr. Hughes, we don't have enough stock in the Booster Club. That's a shame, I said, and walked off. Now, I don't know exactly what lesson they learned there, but I can tell you that I've never needed to go to the cash and carry since, and they've never sold out of toasties. Trust. Now, this one is a really hard one for me to give you examples of, but trust me when I say it needs to be there. If I can't trust that my daughter is doing the right thing whilst I'm not hovering over her, then how can I let her grow and develop? It's the same here at school. I have to trust that upward of 30 students are going to deliver on what they said they would when it comes to a tournament. Whether that is making the program, ordering the t-shirts, ordering the trophies, scheduling the games, turning up to keep score, ordering enough ham and cheese for the toasties. If I didn't trust them, I would be taking away the value that they get when they succeed, or the lessons they learn when they fail. Support. This is a really hard one to balance. Too much support, and you take away that experience from them, and thus their empowerment. Too little, and it results in almost certain failure and a complete lack of trust. Jamie Foxx, the Academy Award, Golden Globe, and BAFTA award-winning singer and actor, once said that when it comes to supporting his children, he likens it to a bow and arrow. He, as the father, will hold the bow and help to guide them in the right direction. His child must hold the arrow and ultimately decide the right time to let go. And I really love that as a way of thinking about support. And finally, celebrate. Without this, you may as well forget the other four. To see the faces on our tournament organisers when they're getting a massive round of applause from all the players and all the coaches for a job well done, it's all worth it. And to be able to get down and give my little daughter a big hug and a kiss because she got herself dressed all on her own or said thank you to me when I gave her a drink, it's all worth it. All that time, all those failures, all that trust, all that support, it's all worth it. Now, I'm not a master, for reasons I shall explain. Are there times when I feed my daughter so I can have it done in 5 minutes instead of 20, save myself a load of cleaning and washing in the process? Yes. Are there times when I'll go and buy some more ham and cheese toasties for the kids? No, but I may tell them to open the windows before they set the smoke alarms off. Are there times when Mara is in the other room and she is so quiet that I can't help but think she is drawing with felt tip all up the walls, only for me to run in there and see that she's reading a book? Yes. Are there times when I practically make a tournament program because I don't think that the person is going to come through? Yes. And are there times when Mara comes up to me and she's got herself completely dressed and she's waiting for me to give her that big hug, but we're running 20 minutes late and need to be out in the car? Sadly, yes. I'm not a master of my superpower yet. I hope to be one day, and I hope you can too. Our young deserve it. Thank you for listening.